In the heart of a bustling city lay an old, forgotten building. Its façade was covered in layers of grime, and its once elegant architecture had faded with time. Most people hurried past it without a second glance, unaware of the remarkable history it held within its decaying walls. This building was once known as the Grand Melody Theatre, an esteemed venue for music and the arts. But as the years passed, it fell into disrepair, and its former glory was all but a distant memory. However, beneath the layers of dust and neglect, there was a hidden treasure waiting to be uncovered. In a quiet corner of the city, a young woman named Isabella made a living as a street musician. Her violin, with its glossy wood and golden strings, was her most prized possession. She was a talented musician, but life had been unkind to her. The streets were her stage, and the spare change from passers-by her only income. One crisp autumn morning, as Isabella played a hauntingly beautiful melody on her violin, a mysterious stranger in a dark overcoat and fedora approached her. His eyes were hidden behind sunglasses, but his aura exuded an air of sophistication. He listened to her music with an intensity that made Isabella's heart race. When she finished playing, the stranger clapped slowly and said in a deep, melodious voice, "My dear, you are a true virtuoso. Your talent deserves more than the streets." Isabella, who was used to the casual indifference of most people, was taken aback by the stranger's words. "Thank you, sir," she stammered, her voice tinged with surprise. The stranger then handed her a card with an address and said, "Meet me here tomorrow at noon. I believe I have something that will change your life." With that, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the busy city streets before Isabella could even ask his name. The address on the card was that of the Grand Melody Theatre, a place Isabella had heard of but never imagined setting foot in. The night was long for Isabella as she wondered about the mysterious stranger and his cryptic offer. In her heart, she dared to hope that this was the opportunity she had been waiting for, a chance to escape the harsh life of a street musician. The following day, Isabella arrived at the address, the Grand Melody Theatre, with her violin in hand. The building's grandeur was still evident, despite the layers of dust and decay. She entered through the creaking doors, her heart pounding with anticipation. The stranger was waiting for her in the dimly lit lobby. He introduced himself as Mr. Hartman and led Isabella through the grand corridor of the theatre. Along the way, he told her the history of the place. It had once been a hub of culture and art, where renowned musicians and performers had graced the stage. The theatre was famous for an elusive and long-forgotten masterpiece, a symphony composed by a musical genius known as the Maestro. Isabella's eyes widened with awe as she absorbed the rich history of the Grand Melody Theatre. But Mr. Hartman's intentions soon became clear. "I have brought you here because I believe you have the talent to revive this place," he said, "and in return, I will provide you with everything you need to pursue your music and your dreams." Isabella's heart swelled with gratitude and excitement. She agreed to Mr. Hartman's proposition without hesitation. Over the next few months, Isabella transformed the Grand Melody Theatre into a haven for music and art. With the help of Mr. Hartman's resources, they repaired the building, restored the grandeur of its architecture, and brought it back to life. Local artists and musicians joined her in this endeavor, and the once-forgotten theatre became a bustling center of creativity. Isabella composed her own melodies and played them on her cherished violin, enchanting the audience with her passion and skill. The Grand Melody Theatre's name began to resurface in the city's cultural scene, and people flocked to witness the revival of this historic gem. But the most significant discovery was yet to come. As Isabella explored the depths of the theatre, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber behind a velvet curtain. In the chamber, she found a stack of dusty, yellowed sheet music. It was the maestro's lost symphony, a composition that had never been performed in public. Isabella's heart raced as she realized the treasure she had uncovered. With trembling hands, she carefully examined the ancient manuscript. The music was intricate and complex, with notes that seemed to dance and sing on the page. Isabella knew that this was her chance to leave a mark on the world of music. With Mr. Hartman's support, she assembled an orchestra of talented musicians who shared her vision. They dedicated themselves to bringing the maestro's forgotten symphony back to life. Rehearsals were grueling, but the passion and determination of the musicians drove them forward. The night of the performance arrived, and the Grand Melody Theatre was filled to capacity. The audience buzzed with anticipation, eager to hear the long-lost symphony that had been hidden for generations. Isabella, in her elegant gown, stepped onto the stage with her violin in hand. The orchestra followed suit, and the audience fell into a hushed silence. The first notes of the maestro's symphony filled the air, and a magical transformation occurred. The music was like a living entity, weaving its way into the souls of the listeners. As Isabella played, it was as if she was communicating with the spirit of the maestro himself. The symphony flowed through her, and she poured her heart and soul into every note. The audience was transported to a world of emotions and beauty, their hearts and minds touched by the power of the music. The performance was a resounding success, and the Grand Melody Theatre received accolades from critics and music enthusiasts. Isabella's name was now synonymous with talent and passion, and she was no longer a street musician, but a celebrated artist. As the days turned into weeks, Isabella continued to perform at the theatre, but she could not forget the mysterious Mr. Hartman who had brought her here. She decided to search for him and express her gratitude for the life-changing opportunity he had given her. But no matter where she looked, Mr. Hartman was nowhere to be found. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving no trace of his existence. Isabella was left with the lingering question of who he truly was and what his motives had been. One evening, as she was wandering the corridors of the theatre, she stumbled upon a room hidden at the back of the building. Inside, she found a small, dimly lit chamber filled with mementos of the maestro. There were photographs, letters, and personal belongings that told the story of the musical genius who had once graced the theatre's stage. Among the mementos, Isabella discovered a diary that belonged to the maestro himself. She opened its fragile pages and began to read. The diary revealed the tumultuous life of the maestro, his passion for music, and his deep desire to create a symphony that would touch the hearts of all who heard it. Tears welled in Isabella's eyes as she realized the truth. The mysterious stranger who had appeared in her life had been none other than the spirit of the maestro, reaching out from beyond the grave to find a worthy vessel for his music. Isabella was both humbled and overwhelmed by this revelation. She now understood the depth of her connection to the maestro's music and the legacy she had been entrusted with. With newfound determination, she continued to perform the maestro's symphony, dedicating herself to preserving and sharing the forgotten masterpiece.